For the second October in a row, HBO has taken us back to Tulsa. Let's get started. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Thumb Together TV. My name is Andrew Fantasia. Today we're going to be talking about Lovecraft Country, Episode 9, Rewind 1921 together. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. Rewind 1921 literally does that. It takes us back to 1921 via some hoogly boogly time travel. And this is going to be a quick, very concise review because it is Canadian Thanksgiving here where I live in the great brown north. We got stuff to do here. I'm going to make this as quick as I can, but don't worry, you're still in good hands. Both of these. So finally, for the first time in 9 episodes, all of our heroes, for the most part, are all gathered in one room trying to cooperate. It's about damn time. Atticus, Letitia, Montrose, and Ruby are trying to figure out how to save Diana because she got scratched by the demon dancers, and they're like, what do we do? What do we do? How do we save her? And the answer is to get Christina to do a spell. And Christina's like, I'll do the spell, but Atticus has to come with me to the autumnal equinox thing so I can steal his blood, please. And Atticus agrees because he's seen the future. He's like, why not? I got nothing to lose except my blood. But then another solution presents itself in the form of Hippolyta. She's back, and I gotta tell you, when Hippolyta walked back through that door, I let out a little whoop of glee because I was like, she is going to mess everybody up. All the bad guys, done. That's it. They're done. She's like some kind of space wizard now. They can't stop her. She's wise. She had the blue hair. So Hippolyta shows up and she's like, what happened to my daughter? I've been gone for 200 years, but what happened to my daughter? And as soon as they tell her, she's like, okay, I'm going to go open that portal to Tulsa in 1921. You're going to get that book of names because it's very important. And we're going to use the spells in the book of names to pull our asses out of the fire. So she opens the portal and it's really hard and everybody goes in to try to find the book of names. But then we get some cool little kind of Back to the Future action going on because this is when Montrose and Uncle George and Atticus's mother were growing up. They were teenagers in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And in 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, some bad stuff went down. And of course our heroes get caught right in the middle of it. Now, Ruby doesn't go with them on this adventure because Ruby is taking an interesting turn. Like I said last week, she's starting to turn more and more to the side of the villains. And Ruby demonstrates that by turning off the oxygen thingy that was keeping Dell alive and saying, I always imagined myself as a redhead if I turned into a white lady. And they kind of share this smirk and I'm like, oh no, Ruby's gone to the dark side. Christina is bad and she's bringing Ruby along with her. This is terrible. And that's all we get of them until Christina heals Diana. But most of the action takes place back in 1921, where we see what it was like for Montrose growing up as a gay young man in a household where his dad does not take kindly to that sort of thing, and the poor kid was beaten, from the looks of things, even worse than Atticus was. So we finally get a sense of why Montrose kind of became the way he was, why he's so conflicted, why he's always drinking. He's had a very sad life. And to top it all off, the cherry on that Sunday of crap is that he had to watch a guy that he loved, one of his friends, get shot in the face during the Tulsa riots. And that's the same moment where everything sort of comes to a head, is Montrose and Atticus see this happening, and we get this beautiful little speech where Montrose says, I'm not going to mess anything up because I've always wanted to be your father. I love you. And it's this wonderful moment that really finally cements these two who have been kind of at loggerheads for the entire season. They're finally friends, I hope. I just hope that they are finally just going to make amends and realize one another's foibles and, just hug and make up. Just be a family again. That's what I want for these two, and it looks like they're finally going in that direction. They're also going in another direction, and by another direction, I mean Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, because they totally pull a Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, because Montrose is waiting. He's like, look, any minute now, that stranger with the baseball bat is going to show up and save me and your Uncle George from that mob of racist white guys, but nobody shows up, and Atticus is like, where's this baseball bat, dude? And he looks down, and there's a baseball bat on the floor, and Montrose is like, it was you! You know the rest. And that was cool. It felt very Harry Potter-ish, but you know what? I was digging it. I had a good time. And it was a nice heroic moment for Atticus to finally step up and save the day, save his father, save his uncle, save his mother, and fulfill that whole Jackie Robinson prophecy that we've been hearing since that very first scene of episode 1. And unfortunately, once again, we have a beautiful, gorgeous moment on this show that is, in my opinion, ruined by this weird slam poetry spoken word thing, because Letitia finally gets the Book of Names from Atticus's great-grandmother, and it's this sad, haunting moment because the house is on fire, it's being torched by the racists, and she's like, just go and take care of my family, protect the family. She's there ready to die, willing to die, to make this sacrifice for her family that she's not even ever going to meet. And I'm sorry, guys, but this whole spoken word thing, I'm sure, you know, whoever wrote and is performing that is somebody very important to, you know, African American culture or to the culture of just whoever wrote this episode. But every episode has had something like this, and I don't like it. It makes me feel like I'm watching some, like, pretentious high school project. It doesn't make me feel like I'm watching a show, and it always takes me out of it. And it took me out of it this time too, because that should have been a very quiet moment, just a little bit of score, nothing else, just the fire, etc. And no thank you. No spoken word for this guy, thank you very much. But Letitia got the book, she's fireproof, so she walked out of those Tulsa explosions like a badass, and they made their way through the portal, and that's where we leave off. One episode to go. So what's going to happen in the final episode? Here's my theory. Okay, so Atticus's blood is needed for this Equinox spell that Christina wants to cast. But you know who else shares Atticus's bloodline? Diana. And I think she is going to find some way to use her blood, counter Christina's spell, and save the day. There we go. Diana is the key to everything. She is going to be the one to take these evil wizards down. And hopefully Ruby kind of sees the error of her ways and comes back to her sister, because that would be nice to just get the family back together. But that's my theory. Diana's going to save the day. Am I wrong? Probably not. I don't know. Put some odds on it. Anyway, that has been Lovecraft Country episode 9, Rewind 1921. I'm Andrew Fantasia. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you here next time, and until then, adios.